You six? Are you alright? You look like you haven't been sleeping well, or slept at all last night. And Pinky was right. Thomas and the others had blank expressions on their faces. And they were as white as ghosts. Can't. No sleep. No sleep. Half engine will catch you. Just can't sleep. Half engine will catch. Can't sleep. Half engine will catch. Can't sleep. Half engine will catch. Okay. We'll get you. You six? Are you alright? You six are literally that scared of your own story? You six are literally that scared of your own story?
Rainbow Dash!
Henry? Well, you six look like you haven't slept well, but I'm sure you would be fine. You six alright? Hey, we're fine, totally fine, said Percy. But they weren't. They knew what happened last night. Last night they came back to the shed. For those who don't know, why don't we have a little recap, little refresh, and a little recap about what happened? Thomas and the others were bringing home their last trains of the day. Hey. They were on their way back when they were stopped by... They had to stop at a signal. No. And even though they knew the story of the half engine, the story still ran through their minds. What if we were right? What if little Caden was right? And even though they didn't know, and even though some of them didn't think the half engine was real, Caden's story still ran through their minds. What if little Caden was right? What if there really is... Oh, get it together, boys. Caden's just trying to scare us, and Caden's just trying to play a trick. He's usually always tried to do that, said Thomas. He's usually always tried to do that, said Thomas. Ugh. Sir is right. Thomas is right. Get it together, Gordon. Caden's just trying to play a trick. He's always kind of been like that. Like that. A signal?
Were his crew.
That's all. No other trains should be passing through at this time.
But I thought we were the only ones on the line tonight, said Henry.
Do you think something's wrong?
I think so. Grab some flashlights. I'll go and get the guard.
Find out what the problem was. Gordon's driver spoke to him.
We'll be gone for a little bit, Gordon. We're heading up to the nearest signal box to see what's wrong.
You're just gonna leave us? What? You're just gonna leave us here? In the middle of the main line? You're just gonna leave us here? In the middle of the main line?
You can't.
You can't leave us here. Leave us here? You can't be serious. You expect us to sit here in the fog in the middle of the main line until you get back?
Yes, that's what we'd expect you to do.
Sorry, Gordon, but there could be danger ahead, and we wouldn't want you getting into an accident. We've left behind some red oil lamps, so you won't have to worry about anyone crashing into you. We'll try to be as quick as we can, okay? Right.
Alright.
Quick about it.
But be quick about Alright. Be quick about it. Alright.
Be quick.
But be
Okay?
Alright. But be quick about it.
We just don't want to be left out in the cold
We just don't want to be left out in the cold.
any long.
And we don't want to be left out in the cold any longer than we have to. As time passed, Thomas and the others began to feel more and more uneasy. The fog gave everything a creepy look. And it didn't help that Caden's story had crept back into their minds. Okay, boys, let's just take it easy. Our crew will be back soon, and we'll be on our way again. Okay, boys. Okay, boys. Let's just take it easy. Our crew will be back soon, and before we know it, we'll be back in our nice. We'll be back in our nice warm. Ah! Stupid bird! Back in our nice warm. Ah! Stupid bird! Go away! We'll be back in our nice warm. Ah! Stupid bird! Go away! Stupid bird! Go away! We'll be back in our nice warm. Ah! Stupid bird! Go away! We're losing it, boys. The fog in that dang story is just getting to our smoke box. There's no such thing as the half engine. There's no such. That wasn't until then they could hear a noise. That wasn't until then they could hear a noise. It wasn't long before they could hear a noise. An odd, shrieking noise. Then they could all hear a noise. An odd, shrieking noise. Who's there? There was no reply. The shrieking only continued to get louder and louder, yet no one was there. Then, right out of the corner of Thomas and the other's eye came the source of the shrieking. It was a deranged tank engine that thundered round the bend, wailing and screaming as if she had experienced the most awful pain imaginable. Then, as the engine pierced through the fog, Thomas and the others could see that the engine's face only covered half of her smoke box. Oh! Their wails of fear were drowned by the screeching engine as she flew towards them with a maddening, angry look. And just as quick as she arrived, she disappeared. She disappeared right before touching Thomas and the others' buffers. She disappeared right before touching Thomas and the others' buffers. And just as quick as she arrived, she disappeared right before touching Thomas and the others' buffers. crews came back to us upon hearing our cries. Upon hearing their cries.
Gordon? Gordon? Gordon! Gordon, are you okay? You have to tell us what happened.
Vengeance. Kata was right. Kata was right. They were uncoupled from their trains and headed back to the shed with no mishap. Kata and the girls were there. You saw her, did you? Yes, we did. They tried to warn you, Six. Guess you can consider yourselves lucky tonight. No one ever comes back from an encounter with her. Thomas and the others stayed up for a while that night. They were still deeply disturbed over what they had seen. If there was one thing they could be thankful for, however, it would be that the half-engine didn't claim them as her newest victims. It would be that the half-engine didn't claim them as her newest victims. That the half-engine didn't claim them as her newest victims. Ever since that frightening night, Thomas and the others have been waking up to even the smallest of sounds. But I'm sure Thomas and the others are just trying to keep on their guard. Sure, Thomas and the others are just trying to keep their eyes out for the half-engine. Risk another encounter with the half-engine. They didn't. Ever since that night, Thomas and the others worked hard to make sure they would not have to work at work during the night ever again. They didn't want to be out when the half-engine was about. Risk another encounter with the half-engine. Were you six really that scared of your own? Were you six really that scared of Caden's story?
Rainbow Dash.
Or were you really
Were you six really that scared of Caden's story?
Rainbow Dash.
Well, it was pretty frightening, but I'm sure everything will be okay.
You six sure you're alright? Yes, perfectly fine. I'd never better, said Gordon. But Thomas and the others, but they weren't. Ever since then, Thomas and the others just worked harder than they normally did. They didn't want to work at night again. Risk another encounter with the half-engine. They didn't want to be out when the half-engine was about. They said to the girls when they were fine, but they weren't. Are you six all right? That's what I told them when they first came back to the shed last night. You should have seen them, girls. One second they were sitting on the main line waiting patiently. The next they were screaming louder than their whistles. Next they were screaming louder than their whistles. Next they were screaming louder than their whistles. 1 minute they were sitting on the main line. The next they were screaming louder than their own whistles. They hadn't told me much, just saying that they saw something. Something. Said Caden. You six sure you're alright? Yes, we're fine. Jamesy, you sure you're fine? And yes, Rares, we're fine. Never better, said James. Thomas and the others mostly told the girls that they were fine and when they came to see them every day. But between you and me, but I think we all know what happened last night. And I think we all know what made them like this. But I think we all know what made them like this. Don't you? But I think we all know what made them like this. Don't you? But I think we all know what made them like this. Don't you? And they didn't want to be out when the half-engine was about. They always finished their jobs and worked harder than usual. And worked harder. They didn't want to do any night. They didn't want to do any night trains. And they worked hard so they didn't have to work at night. They didn't want to be out when the half-engine was about. They didn't want to be out when the half-engine was about. Out. You should. I can't pull my evening train. You should do it, Edward. I'm not setting one wheel out there in the dark. You should take the flying kip. You should take the flying Kipper G. No way. You should do the evening express. No way. Hey, you should do it, James. No way. You should take the mail, Percy. No. You should do it. What? Thomas and the others didn't want him. They didn't want to be out when the half-engine was about. But between you and me, I think they know what made them like this.